Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. When you hear the word Warhammer, just like me back in the day, I used to think this game was just for nerds. Like this lore, all of these things going on with it. It's just those people with neck beards, they paint their toys and they play with them, you know. But let me tell you, that is not the case because this game is actually so freaking cool. From this very small snippet of gameplay that I just showed you, you can see for yourself, this game has got some good stuff going on. And it's a game that I consistently come back to, that I just have so much fun with, and I want you guys to have fun with it too. With that in mind, let's get into the nitty gritty of why this game is so freaking cool and why you need to play it. Space Marine 2 is described as a hack and slash shooter. I feel like this description doesn't do justice to how unique and fun this gameplay really is. The fluidity of jumping from melee combat to shooting that person to jumping back to melee combat is so seamless, and it just feels so good, and there's no way that you can't enjoy this game if you really do nail down that flow state that the game is trying to get you into. But Skux, how do I get into this flow state that you speak of? Oh, young Padawan, let me teach you the ways of becoming a true Space Marine.
This is where the fun begins.
In Space Marine 2, aggression is survival. What that means is your survivability on the battlefield is tied directly to the way that you engage with the enemy on a moment-to-moment basis. Your armor here indicates how much damage you can take before you take direct health damage. This is important because you can only replenish your health by either medkits found around the map or by damaging enemies within 2 seconds of you losing that health. It becomes this thing called contested health, which you can gain back if you do damage to enemies or perform an execution.
Write that down, write that down!
Executions, you say? What are those?
They are my Crocs.
Well, why don't I just show you a couple? Executions are pretty much just the finishing move on an enemy that has really low health. The way to know that an enemy can be executed is they will flash red, just like this. Once you press the indicated button, you become immune to any damage all around you. So you can use this as a strategic way to make sure that in the middle of a fight, if there's a person who can be executed, you can use them as essentially an immunity shield in those moments. And this delves right back into the idea that aggression is survival because these moments are how you get through the hardest parts of the game. You're just continually pushing, continually doing executions, continually doing all these things, and you end up just feeling like such a badass. One thing to note is that as you're doing these executions, you do get an armor segment back. And so this is a way that you can stay in the fight and make sure that you're not losing that sweet, sweet health. But you want to know something crazy? I've only talked about health management up to this point, so now we're going to get into parries and how freaking cool they make you feel. For the uneducated, a parry is when you hit the block button right before an enemy hits you. This stuns the enemy, leaving them open for a counterattack. In my opinion, this is very reminiscent of how the Arkham Asylum games play, where if an enemy is about to do a big wind-up attack or an attack that you can block, an indicator appears above their head, giving you a chance to react and doing big damage on them. And who doesn't like that? Who doesn't want to beat the bad guys up and make sure the enemies of humanity are taken down in such a fantastic way? When you perform parries on smaller enemies, it's an immediate elimination, so you will just absolutely eviscerate them. But for the medium to large tier enemies, if you do a successful parry, this indicator will appear on their body, this little red indicator that gives you the ability to do big damage. This is called a gun strike. A gun strike is similar to an execution because it puts you into like an animation, but the difference is that you can take damage or get knocked on your ass when you're doing a gun strike, which is kind of unfortunate. So you have to kind of time it in a way that works best in the combat situation that you're in. And as you're looking at this clip, you might notice that there's a lot of gun strikes icons that appear, but I'm not taking those chances. So I'm just waiting for a good opportunity to shoot, and then I keep going. And this just all leads to something that's just so fun to play because you're just ebbing and flowing and fighting and pushing and trying to not die, and you're getting thrown around and you're almost dead, but then you're surviving, and it's so fun. Being a 10-foot monster on the battlefield as a Space Marine essentially means that you need some beefy weapons. They've got your basics like a sniper rifle and machine guns and whatnot, but then you got things like the melt-a-gun. I love you. And just a quick description of what the heck that is. It's essentially a gun that shoots a giant circle of fire at people. So it's like a shotgun that just literally destroys hordes of enemies coming at you. And not only does it one-shot small enemies, it eviscerates larger ones. These bitches are the hardest enemies in the game, in my opinion. But just like everything else, the melt-a-gun destroys them. Now you might be thinking that this combat looks really cool. It looks fun, it looks engaging, it looks challenging. And to that I say, hell yeah, it definitely does feel that way. But I will say that one of the biggest criticisms of this game when it first came out was that there wasn't enough content to keep players engaged for the long term. So that leaves the question, is there enough content to keep me as the player engaged in the long term? My answer to this question is simple. This game is not meant to keep you engaged for 100 to 200 plus hours. Is there things that the developers have added to this game to increase the longevity of it? Yes. Things like new missions to the PvE modes. There's a horde mode that was just recently added. And every couple of months they come out with a new update and it's free to everyone. All the content. The only things that aren't free in this game are some of the cosmetics. So if you're looking for a game to replace your Destiny fix of getting like that looter shooterness going on, this isn't your game. But if you're looking for a straightforward third-person action shooter, then damn, you have found the jackpot. This game is so freaking sick. In a time where the gaming industry is coming out with games that just demand your time, demand everything from you, that you can only play one game, I just feel like this game fits so well into what games used to be. An escape. Not a second job. All jokes aside, the developers at Saber Interactive have truly created something special. It's a game that is a callback to what games used to be, and that is truly amazing. And here's the thing, these developers add things all the time, which means that my comment about this game being just kind of a game that you play every once in a while could turn into a game that truly has that longevity that people are looking for. One last thing, this game is always for sale, so get it on sale and you, I promise, will not regret it. I hope I've been able to convey to you guys just how awesome this game is. I hope you have a good one. See you guys in the next video.